That's good shit. So I don't know if I'm going to. I'm recording this immediately after the psychology video I just did with your mental character stats. I don't know if I'm gonna make this its own video or just implement it in that psychology video, like with editing, but whatever I decide to do. What I want to deep dive a little bit more into is just that teeter-totter that I was talking about with in state of imbalance. Sorry. A state of balance versus like overconfidence and a state of balance. Whatever, you get the point. You know what I'm talking about. The thing I wanted to deep dive into a little bit more was just the idea of overconfidence. Did I spell that right? Hell no, I did not spell that right. Overconfidence. Okay, I think I spelled it right. If I didn't spell that right, I just look like a fucking idiot right now, but whatever. The idea I wanted to deep dive into a little bit more was just this idea of overconfidence. You have to understand that if this were crack cocaine in trading, well, this would be the crack cocaine of the trading world. Overconfidence in trading is literally a drug. I'm not even joking. I want to break this down a little bit more and explain what the hell I'm talking about. So I don't make this like a hour video like all the previous videos. I'm gonna like just be reading off my notes and then just putting my thoughts out there, okay? So overconfidence in trading it's first of all, we have to understand that it's you. We've already discussed what that is. You are a boss fight in itself. In fact, you were probably the worst boss fight on the entire fucking board, okay? Like, if there's an enemy that one-shots you the entire time, it is fucking you. It's not the markets. The markets never change. The markets don't one-shot you. You one-shot you. Bro, stop sizing up. Man, let's break it down, bro. So overconfidence is simply a boss battle. What is overconfidence? It is a characteristic of you, okay? So overconfidence is a boss battle. What this boss is, it happens after you usually win, okay? So after you usually get a win, you get a bit cocky and you get a bit overconfident and you start thinking, I'm in motion. I'm in sync. You know what I mean? I see clearly now. You start feeling like fucking Neo from the Matrix and like you're like dodging the fucking market makers and shit. And like you're like, man, like I can size up, I can take another trade. No, bro. You're not Neo, bro. You're not Neo, bro. You're not Neo level, okay? You need to understand that. Could never be the GOAT Keanu Reeves, okay? I don't even care if you look like it. Okay, but overconfidence usually happens after wins. You start thinking, I'm in sync, I see it clearly now, or the fucking killer of us all, let me size up, okay? That wasn't a part of your risk management plan going into your trading day. You weren't saying, okay, after I get a win, I'm gonna size up. You weren't saying that. Why the fuck are you, bro? Why are you going from 5 contracts to fucking 20? Oh man, it's okay because I won $1,000. So if I risk 500 of my $1,000, I can probably make $2,000. And then you lose $500. Then you're like, I need to make my $500 back. And it just starts fucking spiraling down from there, bro. Because in order to make that $500 back, you go keep sizing up. So overconfidence happens usually after a win. And you start thinking, usually, let me size up. Overconfidence is winning one fight and then you're sprinting into the next room to start the next fight. You shouldn't be doing that. After you get done with a fight, you ever get done with like a boss fight and then the screen pops up and it shows you your XP and then how much you leveled up, how much damage you dealt, etc., etc. That's the screen you need to be looking at before you fucking sprint into the, like, I played a lot of Sonic games growing up, bro. And usually after you would clear the level, a fucking screen would pop up where Sonic does a cool ass fucking kickflip and then it gives you your S rank or your B rank. You know what I'm saying? I always got the S rank because I'm the GOAT. You probably got fucking D rank because you suck. But it would give you like a rank usually. And on that screen, it shows you how much XP you gained or points, whatever. That's the screen you want to be looking at before you decide to run and clear the next stage. If you're not looking at that screen and you're just running and you're fucking boosting into the next room, that might work in Sonic, but that's not working in trading. That's 2 completely different games, bro. You can't just run into the next room. You can't run in overconfident because you are going to get one shot. If it's not by the boss room, like the boss in the room, you're gonna get one shotted by yourself at some point. And trust me, you getting one shotted by yourself hurts a lot more than just the market fucking you over. Let me give you an example. If I'm in a trade and I'm following all my risk management, my mental's there, everything's checking out, and I risk $500 and the setup is A plus, it's A tier, and I take that fucking setup and it was A tier, like everything looked great, everything. But then I just get fucked in the market. Like, say I wanted it to go up and everything was like aligned perfectly. All the stars were aligned. And I press buy, and then the market just dumps and it completely goes against me. I have no reason to be upset. I followed my risk management plan. I checked my psyche out. I was doing awesome. I have nothing to be upset about. As where it, like, you know what I mean? It simply just wasn't my day. It wasn't. I just lost health points, but it's okay because I followed everything to a T. But if I'm just running into the market's overconfident, like, yeah, I'm gonna get this shit done in like a minute to 2 minutes. Shit, I might get done in 30 seconds. You feel me? I'm running in that bitch. I'm overconfident. I'm like, bam, I'm putting fucking 30 contracts on. I'm about to make fucking $2,000 a day. It's either that bitch gonna hit stop loss or it's gonna hit TP. I don't give a fuck. Right? If I'm running into the markets with that mentality and I have no data, first of all, on the mentality, even proving that it worked. Dude, when I lose and I lost that $500, so it's the same setup, you know what I mean, that I would have taken if everything aligned. If I take that same setup, but if I lose now, I'm going to feel a lot more hurt and I'm going to beat myself up a lot more because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. You don't know why it is you lost. Now you're thinking to yourself, trading doesn't work. You're thinking to yourself, man, fuck that damn YouTuber. His trading strategy don't work. Fucking guy scammed me. Took my $300. No, bro. You're the problem. Bro, you are the problem. You are the problem, bro. You ran in overconfident, fucking thinking you could put your balls on the market's face, not realizing that your balls is size 2 and the market's balls are like fucking size 30, bro. Your balls don't fucking compare to the market maker's balls. Their balls are fucking gigantic. You have to understand that, okay? You can't run in overconfident. Once again, overconfidence is winning one fight and sprinting into the next room thinking you're gonna put your fucking baby balls on the market maker's balls and like you're trying to like ball them up. You're trying to size them up. They don't give a fuck about you, bro. Their balls are big as shit, dog. Pause. Let me stop. Okay, so in the last video, we talked about the mental characteristics that make up your mental psyche and who you are as a character. So now we have to talk about boss mechanics and how it is that the boss attacks. Are you talking about the boss? The bosses that you explained on the charts? No, this is a psychology video. We are talking about you in your head. We've already discussed how you yourself are a boss fight, okay? So, the boss mechanics. How does it work? How do you work as a boss fight? I'm sorry, I'm sitting here talking and not right. You know what? I don't know how I'm gonna edit this fucking video. Whatever. I might just like pop the words up here on the screen and like edit them in because I don't want to keep drawing. It's so fucking. Anyways, how do you work as a boss fight? What are your mechanics? Well, first of all, we have to discuss. One of the characteristics we discussed about was your armor. And if you have it written down, pat yourself on the fucking back. But we have to discuss how it is that your armor is removed in the first place. What chips away at your armor, right? Because the only way that you can be attacked in this game psychologically, we're not talking about your physical trading character right now. The only way that you can be attacked in this game and have your armor removed psychologically is if you're breaking your rules, okay? Rule breaking. I'm sorry for my really bad handwriting. I promise I don't write like this. It's just I'm on a mouse. The thing that removes your armor is you breaking your rules. Let me try to draw a fucking shield here. Let me see. I don't know. That's supposed to be a shield. It doesn't even look like a shield, but it kind of looks like a shield. The thing that breaks your shield, we're talking about psychologically, it's you breaking your rules. That is the only thing that can chip away at your mental armor, okay? We don't need to discuss that anymore. Like, it's literally straightforward. The next thing we need to talk about is what drains your mana, right? Because these are the things that help you attack in the first place. What drains your mana? Can anybody guess what drains your mana? Probably can't. The thing that drains your mana, remember what your mana is. It is literally just your mental capacity, okay? The thing that drains your mana is sloppy, at least I would say. A lot of people might classify this a bit differently. But I would say it's sloppy, oh my god, sloppy handwriting, holy shit. Sloppy reads, okay? It is sloppy reads on the market. What does that mean? It is simply you overanalyzing and trying to look at fucking everything instead of just looking at the shit that you're supposed to be looking at and just being okay with whatever happens next. because you're following your rules and your risk management. The thing that drains your mental capacity is you overanalyzing and getting a sloppy read on what it is you're looking at. Okay, we got that. Write that down, literally word for word. Okay, so the next thing we need to talk about is, and it pertains to your armor as well, I guess. So what affects your armor? But is what is increasing the amount of damage that you're taking over time? What is it that is causing that? What is that? Like, if you're steadily taking damage, whether it's mentally, so it's chipping away at your armor, well, what causes armor breaking, rule breaking? What is causing the damage to be taken in the first place? What is causing the rule breaking? Could anybody guess? I already said it earlier. Oversizing. Trading does not need to be difficult, bro. Know what it is you're willing to lose in health points. Be completely okay with whatever happens next. And it is as simple as that. Risk what it is you want to risk and live to play the game another day. It is literally that fucking simple. Stop overcomplicating it, okay? The thing that causes you to take more damage over time, the thing that causes you to chip away at your mental armor, or even, I guess, your actual character's armor, is you breaking rules. What causes rule breaking? You oversizing. You are in a state of imbalance. You are imbalanced. You need to come back to a state of balance. Stop oversizing. Know what it is you're willing to risk, okay? Simple as that. Even if you have a sloppy read on the market, if you were okay with losing 200 health points, truly being okay with losing, and then after you lose it, or win, it doesn't even matter if you win or lose. After you win or lose, you follow your rules and you close the game for the day. It is oversizing that causes you to take damage over time, okay? And since it is oversizing that causes you to take damage over time, let me bullet point these real quick. Since it is oversizing that causes you to take damage over time, what does that lead to? Could anybody guess? Probably not. I bet you haven't been able to guess any of this shit so far. It causes, if I could find a color, it causes, how should I put this in like words? It causes lack of patience. I'll just say that. Lack of patience. And please write all this stuff down. It doesn't have to be written down exactly how I'm writing it, but just write it down in a way for you to understand and interweb all this stuff together, okay? Because I promise you this is what's going to speed up your progress. So the thing that oversizing causes, oversizing doesn't just affect your rule breaking. So it doesn't just affect your armor. It causes you to have a lack of patience. In other words, it speeds up your, I don't want to look stupid. It speeds up your decision. That looks like a heart. It speeds up your decision making, okay? It speeds up your decision making. So you oversizing speeds up your decision making. Since your decision making has sped up, you have now formed a lack of patience. This is now in turn affecting all your other mental character stats that you hopefully have written down that we talked about in the last video. Does that make sense? Is this making sense? The market doesn't punish confidence. It punishes disrespect. Okay, can you understand that? Well, I'm going to say it one more time. The market, in other words, the video game, the market does not punish confidence. It punishes your disrespect. Think about in a video game, when you got that overconfident player that you're going up against, or maybe you're that overconfident player. Bro, think about how disrespectful they get, bro. Like, have you ever been beaten by an overconfident player and like no matter what you try to do against that person, like you sit up, you arch your back and everything, well, pause. You arch your back and everything, pause. And you try your hardest to like beat that person and you just can't, and because they're being so overconfident. Have you ever felt like that disrespect? Bro, okay. So for those of you that have just said yes, the market, this game, it does not tolerate disrespect, bro. In fact, whether it's algorithm or market maker, it doesn't even matter. It looks to punish that person. It looks to punish disrespect. You cannot be overconfident. You cannot be overconfident in this game, bro. It will punish the disrespect that you are outputting, because what you give out is what you give in, bro. And I can promise you, you are going to get humbled. How can we avoid all this? Just do the opposite of everything that causes this. Rule breaking. Don't break your rules. Know what it is you're risky. Sloppy reads. Stop overanalyzing everything. If you suck at reading the markets, stop trading. Go back, practice, create save files, and review them. That's how you're going to stop getting sloppy reads on the market. Once again, I would like to show what all this actually looks like, either in real time or through a video. If that's something you want to see, comment below or join my Discord. Damage taken. Stop oversizing. If you don't oversize, you won't take on extra damage. Since you're not oversizing, you're not breaking your rules. You're taking your 1 trade or your 2 trades for the day, and you're closing your laptop. Bam. Oversizing, problem solved. How do you stop having a lack of patience and how do you stop speeding up your decision making? Stop oversizing. If you don't oversizing, your decision making won't be sped up, and you'll have patience. You'll have focus in the market. Remember that character stat we talked about mentally before? Your focus, right? Trading is boring. Trading is boring. It's not always going to be fast. Stop trying to speed up your decision making. Trading is boring. It's supposed to be slow, okay? You need to have patience, not a lack of patience, okay? We want lots of patience. Woosah. We don't want 2-year-old toddler patience, okay? We don't want to be throwing tantrums and shit. Dude, can we all agree on that, okay? Does everybody get that? Now I want to run you through like a mental example. So I'm not physically going to show this on a chart. However, I would love to physically show you this on a chart with myself. Join the Discord. There's a link in the description, or even if, I don't know if that's something you guys want to see, but I'm going to run you through mentally what this visually looks like. I'm either going to edit it on the screen with pictures, or I don't know, just follow along with me, okay? So the first example I'm going to give you guys is a tilted trade example. What does tilted mean? It means you are either in a state of overconfidence or a state of imbalance. What is a state of imbalance? A state of imbalance is just every psychological negative problem that you can probably have, okay? You want to come back to a state of balance. What your chart is marked with basically is maybe you entered early, you had an early entry, you don't have any confirmations. You just felt like it was going up because you've seen it going up. You're like, oh man, the buyers I'm on a 1-minute chart. You're on a 1-minute chart. The buyers, they have control of this market, and you're just hitting the fucking buy button. You have no confirmation. You have no, you're not tied emotionally to what it is you're risking, because you haven't said to yourself, okay, I'm okay with losing this $200. You just entered in because you know what you wanted to make, and you weren't even focused on what you were about to lose. You just knew what you wanted to make, and you got no confirmation that that's going up, because you're only looking at the smaller time frame, the 1-minute time frame, because you're overconfident and you're in a state of imbalance because you want things to go fast, not realizing that the 4-hour is telling you it wants to go down. The trade wasn't bad. Your timing of the trade was bad, because you lack the mental capacity to trade that day. To put simply, if you would have simply waited for if you would have seen what was going on the 4-hour, and you would have waited for the 1 minute to shift structure and to show you that it's violating hero spawn points and it's violating hero stolen land. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, refer back to my earlier videos where we discussed most of this stuff. But it's violating all these hero spawn points, then that tells you that the 1 minute is now shifting structure, so it's aligned with the 4-hour. So since it's aligned with a higher time frame, and now you have the big boys on your back, because remember, the boss fights, they don't sit on the lower time frames, they sit on the big boy time frames. So the 4-hour, the daily chart, the 1 hour, that's where the boss fights sit. They don't care about the short term, they care about the long term. Right? Isn't 1 hour long? So that's where the banks are going to sit, because they're worried about the long term. They're not worried about the short term. You're aligned now with the time frame that the banks are sitting on, simply because you waited, right? So now your mental psyche is checking out. You're emotionally tied to what it is you're risking in health points. Let me turn my phone ringer off. You're emotionally tied to what it is you're risking in health points simply because you waited. You didn't overanalyze anything. You were okay with what it is you were risking. So I don't know if that makes sense, or if that helps you out at all. And hopefully I'm putting good visuals up here on the screen. But that was a tilted trade example. That was an example of somebody tilting and not really understanding. Maybe they understand how to trade, but their mental psyche wasn't there that day. Okay? Maybe you've had a day like that. You could relate to what it is I was just talking about. Stick with me. You start looking for your entry, however you like to look for your entry, and say you have an entry, but it never comes back and it never picks you up and it just ends up running without you. You accept missing that trade. This happens a lot, and this is going to happen a shit ton. And I guarantee you, most of your problems probably stem from this, because you have FOMO. For those of you who don't know what FOMO is, FOMO, it is simply fear of missing out. You are scared of missing out on things in the short term or things in the long term. Whatever time frame you're trading on, whatever, it doesn't matter. You're scared of missing out. You have FOMO. Okay, that's what that is. For those of you who don't know what FOMO is, if you ever hear some old person talking about stop having FOMO or whatever, it's just stop being scared of missing out on things. You need to understand that things take time, and this is a game of probabilities. Not everything is going to go your way, even when things perfectly align, even when you wait hours for things, it still might not go your way, and you have to be okay with that. And that shit is so hard as a human being. It is undeniably fucking hard. It's hard as shit. Imagine you're doing exactly what it is you're supposed to be doing, and you wait hours for the 1 minute to finally flip to match the 4 hour, and you get a setup and it never comes back and it never taps you in, and instead it just fucking dumps, and you could have made a shit ton of money. Dude, I know your fucking heart probably just beat. It probably just skipped a beat here and that. That is a problem. You need to be okay with missing out on things like that. And why wouldn't you be okay? You followed all your rules, and your account is still alive, and you can trade the next day. You have to be okay with that. And it's so fucking hard, bro. It's so hard, but it's one of those things where, like, if you can get over it, I wouldn't even say get over it. It's not something you get over. It sucks to miss out on that kind of shit. But you have to be okay with accepting the fact that you missed that trade, okay? Be happy. You didn't lose any money. You didn't possibly get wicked out. You didn't get faked out, right? You live again. Stop looking at the negatives of that situation and look at the positives. It's like, I know that's easier said than done, but that's really what it is. Stop looking at the negatives and start looking at the positives. Stop having FOMO. Stop being scared of missing out, okay? You need to understand that the pros in this trading game, they don't trade more when they're on a hot streak. They trade less. And I know you've probably heard this. People who are good at trading, they don't trade more when they're winning. They trade less. So like that trade that they missed out on, they don't even care, because they know another opportunity is going to come their way, and they trade less anyways. Hell, they get on the fucking charts every day and they're looking for a reason not to trade, right? Like, we're looking for a reason to trade. The big guys at the top, or even like the high tier retail professional traders in this game, they trade less, bro. They're like swing trading or something. Or even if they don't swing trade, if they day trade, they're trading less. So they don't care if they miss out on moves like that. That's something I've noticed over the years. And once again, I'm just a regular guy just sharing my experiences. Hopefully you can resonate with some of this stuff and you can take this and learn from it. They trade less. Be okay with missing out on any trade, realizing that trading less is still a win, okay? I know it sucks to wait for hours and like your trade goes your way and it never tapped you in, but you have to be okay with that. You should be okay with that, because trading less is still a win. You didn't lose any money, bro. Anyways, the thing that I want to talk about next is simply counter strategies. What do I mean by that? I'm gonna put it simple without overcomplicating it. However, I could talk about this for like another 30 minutes. You need to have a cooldown after you get a win. Man, this motherfucking shit used to hurt me so bad. In simple terms, it's overtrading. You need to stop overtrading. Okay, we've already discussed what overtrading is and how it ties into your character, psyche, and your stats and everything. You need to have, oh my god, I can't say this enough. You need to have a cooldown after you win. You know how when you throw out an attack in a video game, how it has a 30, 50, 60 second cooldown? You need to apply that same thing to yourself, dude. When you take a trade, win or lose, I would say more when you win. When you take a trade, I'll say win or lose, but more when you win. Keep that in mind. When you take a trade, win or lose, you need to have like a 5 to 10 minute cooldown. And you need to just get the fuck up and just like go step away for a second. Or go do something else. Or journal what just happened. Give yourself a cooldown for 5 to 10 minutes. If you can't wait 5 to 10 minutes to get into another trade, well, first of all, you have FOMO. You're scared of missing out. Or you're egotistical. You're whatever. We'll keep it simple. You are in a state of imbalance, bro. There is a problem you are dealing with. Whether it's you're egotistical or you're impatient, it doesn't matter. It's all linked together, and it's like a big spider web, and it all means the same shit, bro. You need a fucking cooldown, and you need to walk away for 5 to 10 minutes. Go journal. What just fucking happened? And I'm sorry, once again, bro, I'm just talking to myself. So if I seem like I'm tripping, bro, I'm really talking to me, bro. I'm talking to you, but I'm also talking to myself, because Stuff does not need to be difficult. It does not need to be difficult. It is, you are literally the problem. You are literally the problem, like straight up. So have a win or a loss cooldown. But I would say mainly a win cooldown, because how many times have you won and you tried to jump into another trade? You get overconfident. What's overconfidence? You are in a state of imbalance. We want to come back to a state of balance. Remember that. Write that down, okay? You need to have a max amount of trades per session. If you haven't noticed, this is really all just risk management. However, I'm calling it counter strategies. Okay, you need to have a max amount of trades that you're going to take per session, okay? I'm only going to take one trade in Asia session. Okay, let's start over. I'm willing to risk $500 today, on the day of Monday. However, I want to trade Asia session and New York session. So I know I'm okay with risking $500. So I'm going to risk $250 in Asia session, and win or lose, doesn't matter. I'm only going to take that one trade, and I'm going to document it and put it in my save file. And then I'm going to wait until New York comes, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to risk another $250, win or lose, and I'm going to document it and put it in a save file. You need to have a max amount of trades that you are taking per session. And I'm not saying you need to trade multiple sessions. You can only trade, you know what I mean? You can only trade New York session. But in order to know how many trades you're going to take per session, or just in your one session, first of all, you need to know what it is you're willing to lose. What are you going to risk? I don't know if you've noticed, but I've said that a lot. Like, you need to know what it is you're going to risk in the first place, so nothing else works out, right? You can't even get in the game if you don't have a way to pay in. This is a pay-to-play game, bro. Like, this is a game where you pay to play. Like, you got to know what it is you're willing to lose in order to even play the game. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense. Another thing, oh boy, listen to me. I know some of you are dealing with this, and I know it's hard. But if you disagree with this, you are the reason you are not succeeding on this journey. You need to set a size lock, okay? You should be okay with setting a size lock, because you already know what you're willing to lose in health points. I'm willing to lose 500 health points. You need to realize, you need to set a size lock. You need to stop sizing up the same day. If you know 500 contract, for those of you who don't understand what it is I'm talking about, just hang with me for a second. We'll explain all this later. But if you know that 5 contracts with like a 15-point stop loss is $500 like per trade, and that's what you're going to risk, stop sizing your contract size up, bro. Stop jumping from 5 to 10 contracts trying to speed the process up. It's not gonna work. It don't work, bro. Like, you need to understand that this is boring. I mean, you've heard this before. This is a boring game. It's boring. Whether you win or lose, it's boring. You know what I mean? You don't beat this person. You don't beat this boss by being overconfident. You beat it by showing restraint. Does that make sense? Oh, how do I break this down? I just broke it down. Set a win cooldown or a win-loss cooldown. Set a max amount of trades per session, and set a size lock. Because you don't beat this game by being overconfident. You can't even beat this game. Your goal isn't to beat this game. Your goal is to stay in the game, okay? Can we write that down? My goal is not to beat the game of trading. My goal is to stay in the game of trading. And you don't stay in this game of trading by being overconfident. You stay in the game by showing restraint. I just showed you how to show restraint. You create save file, but let's keep it right here for now. You set a win/loss cooldown. You set a max amount of trades per session, and you set a size lock, a max amount of contracts, or what do they call it in Forex, lots. You set a set amount of size, and you don't move it, right? If my set size is 5, I'm not going over 5. Sure, I can go under. Like, I can go down to 3, 2, 1, but I'm not going to 6 or 7. Set a size lock, bro. That's how you show restraint. Showing your restraint is just following your rules. All of this shit is connected. It's like a spider web, bro. My chair just squeaked, and it sounded like somebody spoke in my ear. I ain't gonna lie. I got goosebumps for a second. That was crazy. But, yo, that was trippy. But yeah, bro, you have to understand that this shit is all like a spider web. It's all connected. Everything means the exact same shit. And you need to understand that when one part of your stats are being affected, you're affecting other stats, right? You want to be on your best game. You feel me? In order to be on your best game, to even know if you're on your best game, I know I keep saying this, but you need to document your shit, bro. I don't know how else to say it. Okay, the last thing I'm gonna yap about, and this is gonna be quick. It's just, dude, I kind of want to make this its own video because I've seen so many people talk about this shit, bro. Managing your fear. And you know exactly what the freak I'm talking about. In simple terms, it is stamina drain against the boss battle. I'm not talking about the boss battle on the charts that we discussed. I'm talking about you in here. This person, you yourself are a boss battle. You are the only person capable of one-shotting yourself. So what even is this boss? This boss fight version of you appears after your losses. It appears when the markets are chopping up. And this boss battle version of you appears when you've been staring at the screen for too long. You start thinking, I don't want to be wrong. Bro, please, I know this is probably resonating with you. I hope it is. You start thinking, I don't want to be wrong. Or you're in a trade and you start thinking, well, what if this reverses on me? Bro, that is that boss fight showing up. It's showing up. That boss fight is showing up. It's inevitable. And that is the only boss fight that is capable of one-shotting you. Well, how do I control that? If the boss fight is inevitable to show up anyways, how can I control feeling like that? What if it reverses? What if it reverses? Be okay with that. You've already accepted what you put on the table and risk anyways. Be okay with it reversing and taking you out. You're okay with losing 200 points. We don't want to lose, but we're okay with it. Well, I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. You're gonna be wrong. You should be okay with being wrong because you've already accepted your risk. This is how you beat the mental fight, bro. You see how it all connects together? How what you're willing to risk connects to your risk management, and your risk management connects to your psyche, and your psyche connects to your overconfidence or your bro, it's all a spider web. You just need to have the ability to be able to self-reflect and understand what is going on with you. And to understand what is going on with you, you need to self-reflect. It's one and the same. It is literally some yin-yang shit. And the only way that you're not going to succeed, because we're all capable of self-reflecting, is if you just lack that ability. And remember how earlier I said trading is going to bring the demons out of you, and it's going to force you to become somebody that have you ever self-reflected before? I hope you have. God, I hope you have. I don't know. Hopefully you're not like pushing 18 and you haven't self-reflected before. Some might be wrong with you. But we've all self-reflected before, hopefully. Do you see what I'm talking about? Like, if you're able to self-reflect, you're able to beat that boss that pops up in that moment. Well, what if it reverses? It doesn't even matter. I've accepted the 200 health points. But if I win, I gain 600. It's that kind of thinking. You're thinking about all the negatives. How can I think about the positives? Understand what's going on in here. Your fear doesn't scream. It just... What am I trying to say? Your fear doesn't scream. It just whispers, what if? What if it reverses? What if I lose? Well, I don't want to be wrong. What if this? What if that? What if that? Bro, shut up. Get out of your head. like shut up. Shut up and just get out of your head, bro. Fear in the markets is just simply you just saying, what if this? What if that? There should be no what if. If you're following what it is you're supposed to be doing, and you've already accepted the amount of health that you're willing to risk in order to gain this certain amount of XP, there should be no what if. Straight up, it literally is that simple. How can it not be, bro? Like, this boss version of you drains your stamina. We've already discussed stamina. If you have no stamina, you cannot play the game, okay? I don't care if you have an account balance. I don't care if you have a big-ass health bar of 50,000. Dude, you are going to fucking lose your money. Okay, in video game terms. You are going to lose your health points. If you don't have a stamina bar to manage If you can't manage your stamina bar, you can't manage your health points, or you can't manage any of the other characteristics that are going to help you succeed in trading. The boss mechanic version of you, it drains your stamina bar. It delays your entries. It causes you to enter late. It causes you to exit early. We haven't even talked about that, dude. I can make a whole video on this shit. I don't know if you guys even like these kind of videos, but just let me know, I guess. And it causes you to not trade at all, okay? Like, how many times have you, like, done everything you were supposed to do? You waited for the confirmations. You put the risk on that you were supposed to put on. You did everything to a T. You psychologically evaluated yourself. And then the moment comes and you're supposed to get into your trade because your zone gets tapped into. And you just don't enter. Although you've done everything, but you don't enter. Because your fear, it hasn't stopped you from trading. It just deformed your trading. Fear doesn't stop you from trading. You can still trade when you're scared. Fear deforms your trading. You need to understand that. Okay? Ooh, write that shit down, bro. Ooh, motherfucking Shakespeare up in this bitch. Ooh. Damn, no, straight up though. Fear does not stop you from trading. You can still trade when you're scared, bro. You can be scared through a trade, but as long as you're following everything you're supposed to be doing, it don't matter if you have fear. Fear simply deforms your trading. And if you have fear and you don't have a grasp on all the other concepts we have talked about, goodbye. Bro, you're going to get destroyed. Straight up. Like, you're going to get absolutely fucking stumped on, and you're going to blame everybody else, and you're going to blame the world, and you're going to blame that fucking trader that you paid fucking $1,000 for his day trading course. You know, if he was a good trader, he gave some good information, you're going to blame everybody but you, bro. It's going to be everybody's fault but yours. No, bro. It is your fault, bro. It is not the $300 you spent on that course. It is not the fucking guy that taught you how to trade. It's none of that shit, bro. It is you, straight up. If this ain't resonating with you, you're just not at the point in your trading journey where this resonates with you. However, if this does resonate with you, you understand. You don't even need me telling you this. But for those of you who want this to resonate with you and you aren't there in your trading journey, but you like to learn from the mistakes of others, understand, fear does not stop you from trading. It just simply deforms your trading. What does that mean in stupid terms? Follow your risk management. Do what it is you're supposed to do. Stop trying to fucking get a one-up on the market. It's not gonna happen, bro. Okay? Dude, I could talk about this shit for hours, bro. Like, I'm probably gonna cut this video short, but for those of you who like this kind of content, or you like these videos, or if this is like something else you want me to like deep dive into, I don't know if I'll record a video on it. Join the Discord in the link below, you know, so I don't know, we can hop in a Discord call and like we can keep talking about this, because I'm telling you, like, it is literally these conversations that's going to like elevate your trading. I promise you, bro. But if this is a video you want me to keep making, because I don't want to sit here for another 2 hours and like nobody's even gonna watch this, just comment below, like, yeah, you want part 2. Just comment part 2. Comment part 2 below, and I'll make another part 2 of this. But another thing that I want to keep talking about, if we do decide to keep talking about this, is stamina recovery. Like, what is your stamina recovery system? How is it that you're recovering your stamina bar, either with your physical trading character or with your mental character, right? Because we have to start here on the mental character in order to start on your trading character, right? It don't work the other way around. So I want to talk about stamina recovery systems, how those two tie in together. Also, like, I want to give you like a 1, 2, 3 friendly kind of kindergarten system on what it is that trading system can look like for you if you don't know how to develop your own system. And that's really it, bro. So if this is like something else you want me to like deep dive, if this is something you want me to deep dive into even more, just comment part 2 below if you made it this far in the video. But just understand, bro, the final boss in trading, it's not the market. Do bosses exist in the market? Absolutely. They're called market makers. But the final boss in the market, in the game of trading, it's not the market itself. It is the version of you that is ignoring your rules when it matters the most. Write that down, sit and self-reflect on it, and resonate with what I just said. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. I'm probably going to record it immediately after this. But if you want a part 2 on this, where you want me to deep dive into this a little bit more, and the systems behind how you can recover your stamina, and what that looks like maybe in a live setting, just comment part 2 below, and leave a like on this video, and I'll see you later. Peace out.